I'm happy to be Ed's understudy here. He has a record that goes back to Waxman Markey when he was in the House and Speaker Pelosi passed a significant climate bill that would put us in a much safer space than we're in right now. And it unfortunately died in the Senate under Democratic administrations. And now Eddie's come over to the Senate to clean up our act, and I'm delighted to work with him on these climate issues. The fossil fuel industry depends in roughly equal part on hydrocarbons and lies. And so it's very important to look through the layers of deception surrounding what they call natural gas. The first thing is calling it natural gas. It's fossil gas, no different than coal, no different than oil, and we should call it that. Second is to call it cleaner, which may be technically true if you only measure combustion at the burner tip. But fossil gas does not just appear magically at the burner tip, it has to get there. And it gets there through a leaky, poorly maintained system that puts unknown but very significant amounts of methane into the atmosphere, unleashing a greenhouse gas that is far more powerful in the short term even than CO2. And if you look at LNG, which has the added process of pressurization, shipping, and depressurization, in addition to all the pipeline leakage, a very strong case can be made that you're better off burning local coal than you are trafficking around the LNG. Finally, they pretend that it's a transition fuel, but if you look at their documents, what their plans are to have permanent dependence on their gas product. So natural, cleaner, and transition are all layers of deception. Another layer of deception comes through their trade associations. We spend a lot of time fighting with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which is the #1 obstructor of climate legislation in the United States of America. The American Petroleum Institute, which lags not far behind the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and our subject today, the American Gas Association. These associations can say the terrible things and push the fraudulent lies that the companies themselves, with customers and shareholders, don't want to be immediately associated with. They transfer that to their trade associations. Again, more deception as to who's really behind this. And of course, last but not least, we have the ultimate deception of the dark money funding that the fossil fuel industry floods into our politics to make sure that the Republican Party stays obediently in climate denial mode. So I'm glad to join all the advocates today to put a spotlight on the American Gas Association's deception in its many layers. Thank you for having me.